So I was finally able to get some more data testing in. I actually have some older data testing on my 500 with a stock turbo on a phase 2 tune, which I didn't even share yet. So this video, I'm going to share everything. We're going to have some comparisons with the stock turbo and then the new turbo, which I will have available on my site once we finish dialing it in, once we put it on the dyno, once I have even better results, because these results, I'm going to start off with this. The turbo is not even tuned properly yet. This turbo is a little bit bigger than a 1446 Plus offering from Eurocompulsion. I had Eurocompulsion send me a tune, but it's just their phase 3 tune, big injector tune, for their turbo, I assume. I never sent any data logs to them. They've never tuned this turbo. So yeah, it's not dialed in by any means. And then they went on vacation for the holidays, are gone for a few weeks. So I've been beating on the car with this tune, and it's felt pretty damn good. So I did a 40 to 100 when I got the car, and it was much, much colder. And then I did a 40 to 100 the other day. We're going to compare those two first, and I'm also going to be sharing quarter mile times, eighth mile times, and 0 to 60 times. So right after we go over the 40 to 100, we're going to go over all that stuff. I didn't do it before, but we're going to see the times with the bigger turbo. Again, not properly dialed in, but it'll give us some good insight, and then we could see once we further dial it in how much quicker we can get it. And there's one thing we really got to look into, even though the results were pretty impressive, because it's going to be even better. So we're going to dive right into this. I'm going to have you watch the 40 to 100 when I had the stock turbo, Eurocompulsion phase 2 tuned. I should go over the mods. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. You know what? I'll probably just put them on screen right now, because I did not put these mods on. This came with the vehicle from the previous owner. There were some parts that I might have changed here or there, like I prefer Forge over TurboSmart. But with that being said, you're going to see all the mods on the car. I have not done any data logging on this car. I have not done anything with Eurocompulsion. I received the car like this with the tune, with the mods. And what you're about to see is the 40 to 100 time, and then we'll look at the Draggy time slip and see what we got. So as you can see, we got a 12.81, which is not that bad. I forget, I have a bunch of performance testing. I'll put the playlist in the corner here on my 124 Spider. That one I did stock turbo, phase 1, 2, 3, big turbo, all different stuff. And I'm going to keep doing it with my 500 as well, but we're starting off on phase 2 because that's how I received the car. As you can see, the temperature is 41 degrees. And the DA is below negative 1,000. I want to keep that in mind, because when I put the bigger turbo on and I did the 40 to 100, we're at almost 0 DA. So we are at an incline of plus 1,000 DA. The temperature went up about like 15 degrees on this next run that I'm about to show you, which was the first time testing the 40 to 100 with the big turbo that I'll be offering in the future. We're not going to go too much into it. I want to, I want the turbo to sell itself. I'm not here to say, hey, buy my parts, this and that. I want to provide results and data for you guys, and then you guys can make your own informed decision if you want to go with this turbo. So let's quickly watch the new 40 to 100 that I just did the other day, and then we're going to take a look at the Draggy time slip. So check that out, 10.38. Stock turbo was 12.81. We knocked off just about 2.5 seconds. And like I said, look at the DA, it's positive 19. Before we were below, I think, 1100. So we were well over 1,000 DA positive than the first run. It's about 15, 16, whatever degrees more. But the density altitude takes into consideration humidity, this, that, a bunch of other stuff. So not only did we knock off 2.5 seconds, but we did that in worse conditions. So this turbo is already proving to be a very strong turbo. Something else to note is I'm not hitting that much boost on this thing. Stock turbo, I think I was hitting 23. This turbo, I'm only hitting 23. It's holding very well to redline. That is the difference over a stuffed, whatever you want to call, worked hybrid, this, that turbo compared to stock. Stock, it falls on its face up top. You might peak 23 and then you'll fall to 15, 16 by redline, where a turbo like this will peak 23 and hold almost 23 to redline. but I know from my experience with the 124 Spider and a 1446 Plus, I'm hitting 26, 27, and then maybe it'll taper to 23, 24 to redline. So I think this has a lot more left in it. Like I said, this is not even a tune meant for this turbo. I'm gonna have to wait till Eurocompulsion comes back from their holiday vacation, talk with Toby, and finish dialing in this tune. Something else that's exciting, I have an even bigger variant of this turbo. So that's kind of like 2 steps bigger than a 1446 Plus, and that's what I want to put in the 124 Spider. I don't know what we're going to be able to do. I have videos of the 500 on the dyno, which I'll put in the corner up here. We also have a video when I did and that's on, by the way, on the stock turbo, which I'm going to do again with this turbo and bring you guys the results. I also have my 124 Spider on the dyno with phase 3. I'll have the link in the corner up here if you want to watch that later. It put down 220 wheel horsepower, only dropped off the 210 by redline, which is awesome. I'd love to hit 250 with this bigger turbo, but I'm going to try. Then again, I'm still on pump gas, so kind of a stretch goal, but we'll see what we could do. That would be pretty sweet if we can get close to 250 wheel horsepower on pump gas with just a drop in without touching the engine. We'll see, we'll see. That's why I'm trying to bring this to you guys. Let the data speak for itself, basically. Now, we're going to move on, and we're going to see what the car did when we launched it. Now, keep in mind, I found a little spot, so I real quick came to a stop and launched it. It was warmer than I thought, in the sense that like I probably could have used launch control and revved it higher, but in my mind I was like, oh, it's winter, and I was so used to having so many cold days where the tires just spin in first gear anyway, that I didn't use launch control. I just freaking used my little twinkle toes and did my own little launch. It was very quick. You're gonna notice I just came to a complete stop, revved it up a bit, launched it. Pretty crappy launch. You're gonna also see a little later the 60 foot when I show you. Let's just watch it. Watch the pull, and then we'll go over the results. So as you can see, the launch was a baby launch. A very baby launch, and the 60 foot on this, which you're going to see when I show you the quarter mile and eighth mile on the 0 to 60, you don't see it, but it was a 2.51. That is terrible. And your 60 foot can affect your ET, the time you cross, eighth mile, quarter mile, 0 to 60, whatever. That time is going to be pretty bad because the 60 foot was really bad, which means the launch was really bad. You saw that was just a little tiny baby launch. Let's see what we got 0 to 60 though. 0 to 60, we got a 6.17, and apparently we're going up 2% slope. For reference, if you go below -1, it's invalid to Draggy. Too much of an advantage. We were above 2, and obviously if you're going uphill, it never says you're invalid. So you could be going up a mountain and it'll still calculate for you as valid. So 2% slope, take it for what it's worth. We got a 6.17. Now keep in mind, most if not all magazines and websites and all that stuff, when they tell you you're 0 to 60, when they do their testing, it is including a 1 foot rollout. Draggy does incorporate that, and if you look on the bottom, it's a 5.85. So if you're using this to really compare apples to apples to like other websites and magazines and whatnot, you probably want to use that 5.85 time. Now, what do we get eighth mile during that pull? We got a 9.52 at 80.06 miles per hour. That's pretty good, actually. I think with I'm trying to think. I can't remember what I got with the 124, but we'll keep this on the 500. As you can see, the 60 foot, 2.51. That's terrible. That's going to really hurt the 9.52. The launch was, the miles per hour kind of hung up about 12, 13, right about 5 pounds of boost because I didn't launch it too aggressively. I'm sure the miles per hour could have also went up a lot. So eighth mile, 9.52, 80 miles an hour. And now the quarter mile, I'm not going to lie, wasn't as good as I expected, but much better than stock. I don't even know what real people, what I mean is like, someone like me and you would get with our own cars. Magazines, I think, are in the 15s. I think I looked at one. I forget what it was off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure we knocked off a good second or more off of that. And again, off of real times. Let's see. We got quarter mile on the 500, a 14.44 at 97.84 miles per hour. we're getting close to that 100 mile per hour mark. That 14.4, you know what, honestly, pretty sure once we dial this in, we're going to crack into the 13s. We're going to crack over 100 miles per hour. That's the goal on this. I know it can be done. Like I said, we're running a tune that's not even dialed in. This is the first tune I got. It's not custom at all. It's obviously customized to my mods. You know, Eurocompulsion will dial in your tune to your mods, but it's a turbo that they have never tuned. And when you do custom tuning, you could always extract a little bit more power. For example, we're only boosting, it was a little warmer this day, and I think the gauge was hitting 24, 25. Now keep in mind the camera was on an angle, so it might look like it's boosting more, but I think I saw 24 to 25 in fourth gear, and second and third probably stuck around that 23, 24 range, give or take. Timing, when I was data logging a few weeks ago, I'll put a link in the corner, I think I only saw 3, 1.5 to 3. So I really do think we can increase the timing, we can increase the boost, we can get the air to fuels still, you know, happy, in check, and make a lot more power. I still wanted to bring this to you guys just to show you what dropping in this turbo does with, like, I'm gonna call it a base map tune because it's not even dialed in yet. When you go bigger turbo, you really want to do data logging and dial it in. If you just go in phase 1, 2, I think on the 500s they have 0, whatever, just with bolt-ons and a stock turbo, you're pretty good. They'll give you a tune, it'll perform really well. But once you get to like the bigger turbo level, yes, they'll have a tune for you. I'm just someone that prefers to data log and extract more power. In this case, we almost have to, because this turbo has never been put in a 1.4 liter yet. No one's ever tuned it, and I'm going to be working with Eurocompulsion to try and get them to tune it and bring you guys the results, both on the dyno, because I already have stock turbo phase 2. Now we're going to see what this turbo does on a custom tune with them, and then we're going to also see if we can bring that 40 to 100 down, if we can get the quarter mile into the 13s and trap 100 miles per hour, and then have all of this available for you on drivendistrict.com, where you can go and grab the turbo and the Eurocompulsion tune if you would like, or, you know, if you want to be tuned by someone else, by all means, you can grab the turbo and get tuned somewhere else. I think that's going to be it for this video. I want to keep it kind of straight to the point and just kind of share my results. I want to put the emphasis again that this is not the final tune. It's not dialed into this turbo at all. It feels amazing, but I think there's still a lot left. We're going to have to wait till Toby and Eurocompulsion gets back from the holiday vacation, and then I'll bring you guys more data, more information. If you're excited and you're interested in this turbo, drop a comment below so I can start gathering pricing and info and start getting some on hand so I know who's going to be interested. Hopefully soon I'll bring you guys even more data, and it might, you know, get you guys a little more excited about it. But like I said earlier, I want the data, I want the turbo to sell itself. I want you guys to see the results that I bring you and say, yeah, that's good. I'm not here to say, look at this shiny object, buy it because it's shiny and shiny is cool. No, it's look at the data, look at the numbers, and then you can make your own informed decision if you want to buy it. If you are interested, let me know below. Follow me on Instagram as well. Check out drivendistrict.com for some other parts and merch that are already available, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.